Moore was right, as the Panthers have won 3 of the last 4 games against the Saints here at home, and Reese Lloyd will start it off and kick to the Saints. Courtney Roby back deep for New Orleans.
It's got to keep an eye on Marcus Hudson, the gunner on the Carolina Panthers team. Says he's going to make a big play today. Let's keep an eye on him.
And underway in Charlotte. Good low kick out of the end zone and a touchback. And the Saints will start from the 20-yard line. And so here's the Saints offense, and Drew Brees, who has thrown 16 touchdown passes to lead the league. This has been a disappointing offense. Chris Ivory leading a group of 3 running backs. Reggie Bush still not ready, although he did come out and test his leg before the game. And the offensive line coming off one of its best games of the year against Pittsburgh. And they've got a deep receiving core as well. Julius Jones starting in the backfield for the Saints. First down from the 20, and a handoff to Jones. Bursts up the middle. Julius Jones into Carolina territory and ridden out of bounds by Charles Godfrey. And what an emphatic first play of the game from scrimmage for the Saints. A gain of 54 yards.
Well, they came with a 3 tight end look here, putting David Thompson in the backfield right here, and ran the trap to Julius Jones. And boy, does he find a hole up the middle and explodes through it for a big gain.
Could not have been a better start for New Orleans. This is a team that's been struggling running the football all year long after a big season doing it last year. Play one, big game.
Longest run from scrimmage of the year. Chris Ivory now is the running back, and he gets the call, and Ivory gets about 2 or 3 yards on the play, and now with the second effort gets the first down. So 2 big runs to start this game, an 11-yard pickup. Let's take a look at the Panthers defensive unit, 4th overall. Charles Johnson, one to watch up front, and a real good set of linebackers. Dan Connor has had a hip injury, but he's starting in the middle. John Beeson is moved to the outside this year, and a secondary which is good enough to challenge the deep core of Saints receivers. First down on the 15. Empty backfield, and the pass is caught out of the backfield by Colston, and Colston picking up 6 yards on the play.
3 plays, and we've seen 3 offensive personnel groups out of the Saints, and that's one of the things that they do so well. And here comes another one. One of the things they do so well is they play with a great tempo, a great pace, and they force you on defense to try to keep up with them, and boy, is it difficult.
And 31 points on opening drives, leading the league, and charging for more. Now Liddell Betts bobbling, and incomplete. It's picked off. An interception by Richard Marshall. Richard Marshall has blocking, and only Drew Brees is back there, and now finally Colston will make the tackle, and what a quick reversal of play here in the opening minutes of the game. Ball was tipped off the hands of Robert Meacham, and Marshall returns it 67 yards.
This is supposed to be a run play, a lead play here to the right. Drew sees the 8-man front, tries to get the ball out quick on what we call a smoke route, bobbles it, and still tries to stay with the throw. That's not a decision you see a guy like Drew Brees make very often. Usually a great decision maker, really hurt him right there.
And a big break for Carolina. First down on the Saints' 28-yard line. Handoff is to Jonathan Stewart. Stewart starting again for the injured D'Angelo Williams, and Danny Clark makes the tackle after a gain of 5.5 yards. The Panthers offensive unit, Stewart again for the second straight week behind Matt Moore. This has been an anemic offense, scoring the fewest points in the league. And up front, again, Jeff Otah has been missing all year from the right tackle position. Second down and 5. Matt Moore has played well at home. Stewart up the middle, inside the 10, And Stewart with a first down, getting to the 7-yard line. And Darren Sharper making the tackle, and that is more like John Fox football, guys.
What a difference a week makes. Last week we saw them against St. Louis. They open up running the football, flea flicker, end up throwing an interception. But look at this. Look how they're matched up right there. Fiammetta with the lead, with a great block. They get Stewart to the secondary. Today they come out, first 2 plays. You guys have both mentioned John Fox football. Let's line up, let's run the thing. And so far, that resembles the Panthers that we know.
First and goal at the 8. Against Stewart. And Stewart getting to about the 6-yard line with his forward progress. A 2-yard gain with Scott Shanley, outside linebacker, on the tackle.
Jim, at the top of the show, you talked about the Panthers run the ball, and run the ball some more. I sense in this situation, that's exactly what they're going to do. Go ahead and get after it because they've started out so well. Matt Moore having a little trouble with communication on the sidelines.
Yeah, they're having trouble getting the play in, and the reason for that is that the Saints just sent on a mass substitution, and the offensive coordinator, Jeff Davison's trying to figure out what group he's about to face.
Second down and goal from the 6. Moore with a fade, and off the hands of the rookie David Geddes. Covered well by Jabari Greer, who's come back into action. Greer and Porter, who've been injured lately. They're starting cornerbacks playing together for the first time since week 4, and it'll be 3rd and goal.
If you're a defensive coordinator, Jim, as you've been, how excited are you, though, when you run out a group of substitutions and you see a little confusion from the offense, seemingly that they're trying to match what you're doing instead of you having to match them?
Well, I'm going to keep doing it, and I'll tell you what else is about to happen. The house is about to come at Matt Moore. They're going to bring it here.
3rd down and goal from the 6. And Moore quickly gets it to Brandon LaFell, and he is pushed back. The forward progress will be the 3-yard line. And it was Jenkins who came in to make the play. Darren Sharper, who's starting at safety. So 4th down, and so the Panthers can't score on their opportunity following the interception, and will try to get in front on a field goal.
That's a good stop for the Saints defense. Following a turnover deep into their territory to get a stop, and a really nice 3rd down play because they were on Carolina's offense was anticipating blitz, as was I. Throw the slant route, play zone defense, stop it.
John Casey with a 20-yard field goal attempt. It's good, and where it looked like the Saints were going to jump in front, instead it's the Panthers. Marshall's interception, 67-yard return, the field goal, giving the Panthers a 3-0 lead.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
3-0 in favor of the Panthers on the 20-yard field goal by John Casey. 26 yards on 6 plays. Courtney Roby, 2 yards in the end zone. And Roby is knocked out of bounds by Sherrod Martin. Drew Brees coming off an interception, coming back to work. And so will we.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
And we'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. Drew Brees swings it out to Liddell Betts. And Charles Godfrey is right there for a minimal gain on 1st down. And we want to thank all of the men and women in uniform for all you do, and we hope you're enjoying today's telecast. And Veterans Day coming up on Thursday. And the veterans playing a role in the Panthers getting on the board first with Richard Marshall's interception. It'll be 2nd down and 9 from the 21. Chris Ivory, the rookie from Tiffin University in Ohio, picking up a couple. 3-yard gain.
Now, the Panthers picked off a pass in the first series. So that's their 11th of the year. You know they're ball hawks in the secondary. What they also do is make you go the long way. In the last game when New Orleans won, It took an 18-play drive to kick the game-winning field goal. They don't make it easy for you on offense.
Two tight ends, and rookie Jimmy Graham, number 80, is in the lineup on 3rd down and 6. Drew Brees. And the pass to Jimmy Graham, and it is ruled a catch and a first down to the 37-yard line, a gain of 13.
Really nice grab here by Jimmy Graham. And talking to Sean Payton yesterday, he told us this is a guy to watch. This is an athletic guy with good hands, and you certainly see it demonstrated there as he goes low to make a nice catch.
But the play was made because they lost contain of Drew Brees getting outside of the pocket. Eric Norwood, number 92, lost contain. That allowed Brees outside the pocket to throw the ball downfield.
Former North Carolina high school basketball star from Charles Prep in Wilson, North Carolina, Jimmy Graham, gets the first down from the 37, and Drew Brees' pass off the hands of Graham, incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
Dick, I saw Jimmy Graham play college basketball. I broadcast a few of his games. Want a quick scouting report? Tough on the low block, could rebound real well, couldn't put a snow pea in a walk on offense. I mean, that's just the way it was. They did not run their offense through him, but a very athletic player who showed his versatility now in the NFL.
Played basketball at the University of Miami for 4 years, played football 1 year there, drafted in the 3rd round, and turned down a couple of offers to play pro ball in Europe. 2nd down and 10. Now Julius Jones is in. They are truly rotating the 3 backs. Brees completes to Lance Moore, and short of the first down by 3 yards. And for a game break, let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, first place in the South is on the line as the Falcons host the Bucs. Michael Turner, 2-yard touchdown run, capped off a 13-play opening game drive, and Atlanta leads it 7-0. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
All right, thank you, Kurt. A very competitive division it is. They're playing for first place in Atlanta today with New Orleans a half a game behind. 3rd down and 4. 3 wide receivers to the left. And finally, a timeout is called. Talk about a chess match going on there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Brees got the timeout called before they dropped the flag in the secondary.
Well, before the delay of game, a timeout was called by New Orleans. That's their first.
So there is our referee and his crew, Ed Hockley. Timeout called.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Toyota, by Sprint, the Now Network, and by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.
Back here in Charlotte, Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, and Jim Mora. Timeout called by the Saints. Their first, and now it'll be 3rd down and 4. Leading the league in 3rd down conversions. Brees, pass incomplete, and we're going to have a Saints penalty, I believe, offsides, and that will be a first down for New Orleans.
Before the ball was snapped, neutral zone infraction. Defense number 91 came into the neutral zone, causing the false start.
It's the
5-yard penalty
Panthers.
results in a first down.
With the penalty and a first down, John Fox all upset over that one.
And the Panthers have the momentum built up. They've just forced the Saints to take a timeout, or attempt to take a timeout before the delay of game, which they got because there was some confusion on offense. Looked like they had them moving again, and then the Panthers hand them a first down instead of being able to try and get off the field on 3rd down.
Everett Brown with the neutral zone infraction, so a first down at the 48. Julius Jones, who had that 54-yard run on the first play from scrimmage, gets to midfield, picking up 2.
And that was the exact same play there, Dick, but it didn't quite work as well. Looks like Carolina might have figured it out. I'm going to tell you, when you watch the New Orleans offense substitute in and out every single down, I don't know how defensively you keep up with that. Ron Meeks is doing a heck of a job of getting the right people on the field right now.
Saints coming in 29th in rushing. Second down and 8. Breeze drills it, and nowhere near his target, Devery Henderson. It was closer to Chris Gamble. Kurt Menefee with a game break.
Well, Matthew Stafford was right on target. Hooks up with his tight end Brandon Pettigrew for a 10-yard score. And against the Jets, Frank's upset pick. The Lions looking pretty good. They lead it right now at 7-0 midway through the first quarter. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
I know it's early, but this Lion team much better than their record, it seems.
Oh, they're going to be an outstanding team. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year or the following year, but they're building something special there. Good young quarterback, like their coaching staff, like what they're doing defensively.
Now it's third down and 8, midfield. Breeze stepping up, and incomplete. Jeremy Shockey pointing, claiming he was interfered with. No flag down, and fourth down coming up, and a good stop by the Panthers defense.
To me, this is just really good coverage. Watch Chris Gamble, number 20. He ends up taking Jeremy Shockey man for man. Shockey tries to get inside. Could be called a little bit of a hold or a little bit of a hook. I'm glad they kind of let him play through it.
Yeah, he gets away with a little tug on Shockey's hip there.
Thomas Morstead will be kicking, and Captain Munnerlyn back deep for the Panthers. And he'll let the ball bounce, and it goes into the end zone. Lee Torrance trying to keep it in play to no avail. So a first quarter, we've had 2 big plays, and the field goal giving Carolina the 3-0 edge. Tonight on Fox, Halloween isn't over until the Simpsons say it is with the all-new Treehouse of Horror, and the Bloodsuckers are hungry for Homer. The episode you've been waiting for is finally here. The all-new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror starts at 8, 7 Central tonight on Fox. And it's been a house of horrors for the Saints, having lost the last 2 here in Bank of America Stadium. Meanwhile, Matt Moore back at the helm, handing off to Jonathan Stewart. And Stewart pushing the pile, gets about 2.5 on first down.
Not much there, but as we mentioned at the top of the show, they've got to keep pounding it. You know, they might get a 2, a 1, they might get a -1 here and there, but they've got to keep pounding it, and eventually they'll break one. The one thing that the Panthers can't have happen to them on offense is get themselves into a lot of 3rd and longs where Greg Williams can turn them loose.
Second down and 8. Panthers lined up with 2 tight ends. One in motion is King. Again, they run it. Stewart trying to go outside and hit hard at the 26. And a jarring hit by Darren Sharper. 3rd game back for Sharper after undergoing knee surgery, and there is an injured player on the field. An injured Carolina Panther, and it's Jonathan Stewart, their healthy running back.
Saints have been a little out of sorts on offense. Sometimes you need your defense to get you ready to go. And that type of a hit right there by Darren Sharper will really help things for the New Orleans Saints so that they get adjusted.
And a tough break because they have D'Angelo Williams, their starting running back and leading running back, out, and now Stewart is hurt. Here's Jonathan Stewart, and the ball, you'll notice, comes out before he is down, and he was hurt, and the Saints have challenged this, claiming that there's a fumble on the play, and it sure looks like it came out and the Saints would recover, guys.
To me, there's no doubt that the ball came out there. This tackle is being secured by Jonathan Vilma, 51, and Tracy Porter, 22. And then Darren Sharper's hit knocks the ball free. And if the Saints recovered it, it should be their football.
If they recovered it without a scrum, if we go back to the Miami-Pittsburgh game.
Here's the call from Ed Hockley.
The ball was fumbled before the runner's knee touched the ground. Number 96, New Orleans recovered it. It's therefore New Orleans ball at the 27.5-yard line. Please reset the clock to 5:31. 5:31 on the clock, and there are no charge timeouts. First downs.
And isn't it amazing when you get an impact ball hawking player back on the field, and Darren Sharper how things start to turn around in the takeaway game.
Well, this is a defense last year that thrived on the takeaway. And so far this year, that hadn't been the case. They played good defense, but they haven't taken the ball away. This guy, Darren Sharper, is the catalyst for taking the football away, and you saw it again right there.
And Jim, this is his third game back, but his first start since returning. There you see 24 takeaways and 7 defensive touchdowns, none so far this year. And a big opportunity for New Orleans. First down on the Carolina 27. And getting hit, but getting rid of the ball, completing to David Thomas, the tight end. And close to a first down, and there is Stewart, who's being taken off the field, and already with D'Angelo Williams out of action. And he missed the last 2 games with a foot injury, and he had his season's best game when these teams played in New Orleans in week 4 with 87 yards. They're down now to their third back.
They'll have to do some mixing and matching with Mike Goodson and Tyrell Sutton as the only 2 backs available.
Second down and 1. Ivory should have enough for the first down. Chris Ivory, who suffered a concussion last week, making his 5th start of the year.
You know, you go back to the first down play, Jim. Did you notice the Saints wanted to attack the end zone on that play? And the Panthers defense, as they have already multiple times in this game, made Drew Brees clutch, pump, and come down and check the ball down. They're not giving up the big strikes early.
No, Charles, you're right. It looks like they've got him a little bit off rhythm.
And Thomas, the tight end, wide to the left. Liddell Betts in the game as the running back on first down, gets the inside handoff, and Betts working his way inside the 15 for a couple of yards. Charles Johnson with the tackle as we wind down to 4 minutes to go in the first.
Dick, you mentioned the Panthers running back situation with Jonathan Stewart now going out of the game. For the Saints, no Reggie Bush, no Pierre Thomas. They haven't had them in weeks. So they've got a 3-man rotation. Chris Ivory, the lead guy, but they're going to split carries also with Liddell Betts and also split them with Julius Jones. So we'll see 3 guys carry it for New Orleans.
There's Reggie Bush. Julius Jones, speaking of the former Cowboy and Seahawk, has checked in on second down and 7. And Brees his pass, and it's caught by Lance Moore, and a first down inside the 5. He has been a hot receiver as of late, especially against the Panthers, and a 10-yard pickup, first and goal.
Well, you're seeing Carolina play a lot of man-to-man defense here. And this is quick slant route, gets inside, finds the hole, pitch and catch.
Lance Moore has become a real go-to receiver for them out of the slot. And what he's also doing is taking up the slack for Reggie Bush not being in the game. A lot of those play calls where they would go to Bush, now go to Lance Moore.
Now Chris Ivory behind Brees. First and goal from the 2. And movement in the line. Jermon Bushrod was pushed down. Here's the call from Ed Hockley.
Bushrod, I think, was made the initial movement that drew the defense across.
Yeah, there is a flinch.
See that flinch from 74. That allowed Everett Brown to react.
False start, offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
So Bushrod with a false start. It'll still be first and goal.
But those are the plays that you hear the lament from the Saints, don't you, Jim? The plays that happen before the ball is snapped, right? All of a sudden, instead of being right there inside the 5, you're outside of the 5, changes your play call.
They're on the 7 now, Charles. Still first and goal. Brees looking for the end zone, now being chased and has to throw it away. And it was Charles Johnson leading the charge for the Panthers, forcing Brees to throw it out of bounds.
Good coverage all around here. You see bracket coverage, which means they're working in and out on the receiver. So he's got nowhere to go. Brees gets outside to contain, but has nowhere to go with the football. Nice job by the Panthers secondary there.
So if you're bracketing them, you take the outside, you take the inside. Whoever comes in your area, you pick him up.
2-on-1.
Betts is in the slot to the left on second and goal. Going that way, and the low pass to Lance Moore is incomplete. So it'll be third down and goal from the 7, and the Panthers, with one more stop, will make the Saints attempt a field goal.
Jim, you talked about Drew Brees just being a little bit off rhythm on that throw. That's when he makes day in and day out. One step to the left, put it on his receiver. That one was low, no chance for Lance Moore to get it.
No, he does not look comfortable yet today. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way the guys in the black jerseys are playing defense.
Crowd looking for the big stop. Let's see how Drew Brees responds on 3rd and goal.
Again, no one with their hand on the ground early.
Two-man defensive line, and here's Brees' pass, and it's in for the touchdown to Jeremy Shockey, and Shockey is shaken up.
If you look at this, the Panthers switched to a zone defense here, and you'll see the strong safety, Godfrey, right there. Let me do that again. Godfrey right there. He's too deep. You can't play that deep in the end zone and let a guy like Shockey get free in front of you. You got to play tighter in the red zone.
Hartley for the extra point, and the kick is good. And the Saints take a 7-3 lead, so Shockey still down. And capitalizing on the Panther turnover, the Saints take the lead for the first time.
All right, when you're trying to guard the goal line, what do you have to have, Jim?
Picket fence,
Picket
Charles.
fence, because you cannot retreat in this situation. Just a 3-man rush from the Panthers, but they get too deep, and that allows Jeremy Shockey, look at all that space, to find the open area at the goal line and going for a touchdown. And that's, in that situation, you want the ball thrown over your head, not underneath you, and allowing him to get in.
You sound like a dang coach.
You know, I listen to John Majors in Tennessee. He always talk about that picket fence, Jim. Build it, and don't let anybody get past it.
Mike Goodson on the return. Goodson with a good return past the 30-yard line, so maybe Charles Davis will be eligible for one of the coaching openings that we'll have after this year. That's another story. Anyway, next week, the NFL on Fox doubleheader. Vikings, Bears, Panthers, Buccaneers early, and then America's Game of the Week. It'll be the Cowboys and the Giants, and the Ford Fox pregame show starts it off. Brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150. Build Ford Tough begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So you want to coach?
I would not insult all the great guys out there who are candidates by putting my name out there.
Jonathan Stewart knocked to the head. He could come back. And Tyrell Sutton is the running back. Matt Moore goes outside to Dante Rosario. And Rosario is knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line after a pickup of 3.
Interesting how they changed up now that they don't have Williams and Stewart, and they go to a first down pass. That's the first time they've done that. It'll be fun to watch how they adjust without those 2 great runners now.
You're right, with Jeff Davidson, the offensive coordinator. Mike Goodson is not an inside runner. He's a 3rd down type back they want out in space. Tyrell Sutton would be their best bet if they decide to run the football.
2nd down and 6, short drop, and they swing it out to Sutton. And Sutton with a good move and close to the first down near the 40-yard line, maybe just a shy short. And for a game break, let's go to Kurt again.
And again, the Falcons go to Michael Turner. Scored from 2 yards out earlier, this time rumbling in from 10 yards away. He's already got 2 touchdowns, and the Falcons have a 2-touchdown lead as they start the 2nd quarter. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
Well, that Tampa defense hasn't stopped anybody on the ground all year, and I'm sure that Mike Smith and those guys saw that. They said, heck, let's just keep pounding it. Who better to do it than Michael Turner?
Sutton did get the first down for the Panthers. And here he is again. Tyrell Sutton getting an opportunity, breaking a couple of tackles. There's a flag down. And finally, Sutton is ridden out of bounds in Saint territory at the 28, but a penalty marker upfield near midfield.
You do realize that's Sutton's first carry of the season?
Yeah, and it's a nice one. And even though there's a penalty that's going to bring a lot of that back, that's a good sign.
That was a 32-yard gain. However,
illegal hands to the face by the defense. Number 55. Hidden back the head of a blocker. That's a 5-yard penalty added on to the end of the run. First down.
however, they get more. Danny Clark.
Nice block by Jeff King, the tight end, in the circle. And Tyrell Sutton with a good straight arm as he sheds Scott Shanley. And then there's Darren Sharper trying to take him down, but no wrap-up. Just tried to put a shoulder into him before they finally get him down way downfield. Tyrell Sutton out of Northwestern. Ran out the spread offense, used to space. You get that guy into any type of space, he's a very good instinctive runner.
So now, Matt Moore and the Panthers are on the St. 23, and Mike Goodson is the tailback. And Goodson getting the call, and he picks up about a yard with Roman Harper, the strong safety, coming up to make the play on Goodson. And Harper with Greer and quarterback, although Jenkins started the game at cornerback for New Orleans, and Darren Sharper began the game at free safety and has already made an impact play. Here's Jenkins. Clock running down in this first quarter, 2nd and 9. Two tight ends, and they run it to Goodson again, and he runs right into Remy Adele for no gain. And that will be the last play of a feverish first quarter that has seen a couple of turnovers, a couple of long plays, and these two division foes going at it as they always do. After one, Saints 7-3 over the Panthers. So as we start the second quarter, the Panthers outscored 52-12, still have not scored a touchdown in the first quarter. They have a 3rd down and 9 on the Saints 22. 5 defensive linemen line up for the Saints, and Moore going up top, incomplete, overthrowing Rosario. So the field goal team comes on again.
5 defensive linemen, Jim, 1 linebacker, 5 secondary players. And they lined up and played man-to-man. And the Carolina Panthers couldn't sting them. Once again, they have to kick a field goal. To me, another win for New Orleans, even if they give up points here.
No, you're right, Charles. It's a big win, and that's a throw, quite frankly. When you've got single coverage like that, and you've got time, an NFL quarterback's got to be able to make that throw.
John Casey, who kicked a 20-yarder to give the Panthers the lead, doubling it here. A 40-yard attempt by Casey, and the kick is going to be no good. Off to the right. So the Panthers come away with nothing, and the Saints will take over leading 7-3 as Casey misses his 2nd field goal of the season.
Today's game is sponsored by Coors Light, the new Silver Bullet aluminum pint from Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. By the new 2011 Ford F-150, built Ford tough. And by new Windows Phone. It's time for a phone to save us from our phones.
And Drew Brees taking over at the 30-yard line. Interestingly enough, so far in this game, Drew Brees, who has a touchdown pass, now has 17 on the year. He has thrown an interception, 12, and both lead the NFL.
It's consistent.
Not normal for him in terms of the interception rate.
Julius Jones, the setback for Brees. And here's Jones. And a good play made by the secondary, starting with Chris Gamble, and a gain of 2 yards.
You can see Julius Jones becoming more integrated into the offense of the Saints, because that's what they've been missing with the loss of Reggie Bush and the loss of Pierre Thomas. The screen game is so important to Sean Payton and the offense. They've had to go away from that a little until they've got backs that can do it now. And Julius Jones will be one of those guys.
Yeah, and that was set up well, but just a really good play by Chris Gamble on the outside.
Reggie Bush on the sidelines, and so is Jeremy Shockey. David Thomas is the chief tight end, number 85, on 2nd down and 8. Empty backfield for Brees, going underneath, and the pass caught by Colston. He'll be a couple of yards shy of the 1st down as John Beeson sticks him right there at the 38.
And you look at Beeson, and they talk so much about how he's not playing middle linebacker anymore. He's playing the weak side because of the injury to Thomas Davis, and they ended up putting Dan Connor in the middle. But in most of the defenses, John Beeson's still playing the middle because Connor comes off the field. Beeson still runs the defense from the middle of the field.
3rd down and 2. Here's Liddell Betts. Short. And Liddell Betts is stopped by Everett Brown. And a good defensive stop, and You were right when you said, Jim Moore, at the beginning of the game that this Panther defense has kept him in the game.
Well, Charles mentions Beeson and him running the defense, and he does run the defense. He's their heart and soul. He gives them their energy. He gets them in and out of good calls. And again, right there, a nice cleanup tackle to eliminate the first down possibility.
Morstead, who's had a terrific year, punting for the Saints. And back deep will be Captain Munnerlyn. Munnerlyn running up. And Munnerlyn making the most out of it. Brings it out past the 30-yard line, where Anthony Waters makes the tackle. Munnerlyn had a 31-yard return last week, and he's got the job all by himself this week. 18 yards back this time. Seven to 3, the Saints lead, and Matt Moore playing against New Orleans for the first time this year. Jimmy Clausen was the quarterback in the opening matchup, and Tyrell Sutton, who has come into play for the injured Jonathan Stewart, stopped by Jimmy Wilkerson. So we talked about the Panthers' problems in scoring and turnovers and in rushing.
And one of the ways I think you have to solve that, Jim talked about at the top, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, press the running game and stay with it. And that's Jeff Davidson, the offensive coordinator. Another way, though, is Steve Smith has not touched the football in this game so far. Find a way to get his hands on the ball. Bubble screens, quick game, something. Let him have an impact.
Second down and 7. Moore has a pass batted at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. And for a game break, Kurt Menefee.
Well, Adrian Peterson scored to give the Vikings a 7-0 lead. On the ensuing kickoff, Rod Stevens-Howling scored from 96 yards away. It's his second kick return for a score this year, third of his career, but on the ensuing possession, the Vikings are knocking on the door, tied at 7. You like that use of ensuing, Kit?
Thank you, Kurt.
Special teams been a story throughout this league all year long. Part of the reason San Diego Chargers are below 500, a huge part of it.
Charles talked about Steve Smith. Here he is in the slot. Let's see if they're trying to work the ball to him here on 3rd and 7.
They haven't gone to him yet. Matt Moore getting pressure from the secondary, and down he goes. It was at first Malcolm Jenkins who came up, but Cedric Ellis cleans up for the sack. First of the game for the Saints, and a loss of 8 yards. And now Moore looks like he has an injured right arm or hand as he comes off the field.
Jim, they were trying to get the ball to Steve Smith on that play. They were trying to run him inside on a little shallow cross, but Matt Moore never had an opportunity. Dick pointed out Malcolm Jenkins forced the play, made Moore step up right into Cedric Ellis's arms.
Jason Baker punting. Lance Moore from the 25. Turns the corner and goes out of bounds. And got something back after he was hemmed in, out of bounds at the 28. Here's Matt Moore, got hit and got hurt.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Burger King. Have it your way.
Came off the field, and they're trying to throw, and it is not an easy task for him right now. Jimmy Clausen has been throwing on the sideline with his baseball cap on. Meanwhile, in what has been an injury-filled game, Nick Harris is now the middle linebacker. Dan Connor, bothered by a hip injury all week long, is out with a hip problem once again. First down for the Saints, play action, and the pass completed to Robert Meacham. And the Saints get there in a hurry, and not a substantial gain for the Saints. They get 2 out of it.
I really respect the way this Carolina defense is fighting through adversity and playing hard. And they're rallying to the football. They're swarming the football. You mentioned Beeson earlier. Boy, he continues to impress.
And there is Moore going into the locker room. So Jimmy Clausen will get that helmet on soon. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Saints on their 31. Play action again, and Godfrey putting the pressure on, coming in from his safety position. And Breeze throws it away, bringing up 3rd down and 8 for New Orleans.
And watch Chris Gamble, the corner. He takes away this play. because he's going to come up here and take away the out route with the tight end. See, he steps right up into it, and see, Breeze wanted that, couldn't get it. Now he wants to go downfield. Nothing there. Throw the ball away.
That's the old cover 2 trap defense there, Charles. Trying to trap him into throwing it to the flat where you get an interception.
6 defensive backs for the Panthers defensively on 3rd and 8.
Once again, no one with their hand down to try to confuse the blocking.
Good protection, and this pass to the 41, and it is incomplete. Marcus Colston, the intended receiver, and we're watching a very aggressive Carolina defense in this first half.
Jim made a great point about how this defense plays. Marcus Hudson with a big hit across the middle to help knock this ball away. Nicely done by the safety. But this is a Carolina defense that does not watch their offense. They don't worry about what's up on the scoreboard and what the offense is not giving them. They just continue to go out and play, and they're doing it quite well.
And that's not often the case, Charles. When an offense is as bad as Carolina's has been lately, it sometimes has a lingering effect on the defense, so you've got to really respect the way they're playing.
So far, there have been no finger pointing, Jim, during the week between the defense and the offense. Here is Morstead booting it away. Captain Munnerlyn inside the 20 will let it bounce. Doesn't work out good for him. Flag is down. Penalty marker back at the 20-yard line. And Munnerlyn goes down just inside the 10. That was a 61-yard punt.
And by letting the ball hit, he cost his team at least 10 yards prior to the penalty, and now they have the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Dick, you mentioned no finger pointing. You know what that's a sign of? Great coaching by John Fox and his staff, keeping this team believing in what they're doing.
Well, they've come back from deficits in the record before. Remember, 1 and 7.
There were two fouls by the receiving team on the play. They were both holding. Number 57 is declined. We will enforce number 37 from the end of the kick. Carolina keeps the ball, first down.
One of those things, Munnerlyn let it bounce, and
Correction,
so now
it was 36.
Jimmy Clausen will come in to play quarterback and has a long way to go. So the Panthers now losing their quarterback, Matt Moore. Jimmy Clausen, the rookie from Notre Dame, is in there now. And they've also lost Jonathan Stewart, who was part of that great 1-2 punch with D'Angelo Williams last year. Both gained 1,000 yards. Starting from the 3-yard line and throwing from the end zone. Pass caught by Tony Fiametta, the fullback, and he gets a couple of yards.
The last start Jimmy Clausen had this year was against New Orleans. But I take that back. The second to last start was against New Orleans, and he played well in that game. 11 of 20 throwing the ball, 146 yards. Actually had the ball in his hands with a chance to go downfield, with a chance to win the ball game before the game ended in New Orleans' favor. So his memory muscles are going to try and rely on that good performance in this tough situation.
He had a running game in that one too, Charles. 2nd and 8, no one there, and throwing the ball away. And they're going to say it's an incompleted pass. No flag went down. Tyrell Sutton was in the neighborhood, fortunately, for the Panthers.
You know, that had the makings of a horrible play, but he does get himself out of the tackle box, and then he has the presence of mind to flip it out to Steve Smith. Now, Smith wasn't,
Third down.
He wasn't anywhere near looking to make a play on it.
But he had enough presence, as you said, to make sure he got it near a teammate outside the tackle box and right in front of Ed Hockley, the referee. Incomplete.
And it was Smith. Did he get it past the line of scrimmage?
Well, it's only got to be close to the line of scrimmage, not past it, so he was okay there.
3rd down and 8. Out of the pocket, getting hit after he throws. And a flag goes down, and David Geddes, the rookie from Baylor, and they're going to say incomplete. The pass was out of bounds, but we're going to have a push-off.
Could be offensive.
Defensive pass interference against the Saints. Could have been called on Geddes.
Pass interference defense, number 22.
Instead, they call it on
Placed
Porter.
at the spot of the foul. First down.
And let's see the battle here. Geddes with a little stop and go. Porter's got it pinned to the sideline.
I don't see it.
Why is there a flag at all?
It might be calling the arm bar, but you got to let him play football.
I've got to say I disagree with the flag going down at all here. if you're calling it for Porter putting his hand on him right there, that's all we're seeing. That's it.
First down on the 25, 20-yard penalty. And the handoff to Sutton, and Vilma is there to make the tackle. No gain on the play, so amazingly, the Panthers escape serious danger in their own end zone area.
Almost give up a safety. Jimmy Clausen gets it out of the end zone with good presence of mind. Throws the ball up on the next play. The beneficiaries of a flag. It allows them to get out of the shadow of their end zone.
Matt Moore with a shoulder injury. His return is questionable, so Clausen is in there. And pass incomplete. Falling down was Steve Smith. 3rd and 10.
Jim, when you've coached your teams and you're going through a rough spot and guys are trying to make plays, trying to help their team out, do you ever see that? You see them press, try so hard that they run themselves into errors that they wouldn't normally make, like Steve Smith there?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Smith's a great football player with great balance, and to see him slip again like he did last week, it just tells you that, hey, he's trying too hard, he's trying to do too much. Now he's lined up wrong. He's got to relax and just let the game come to him.
He's had a quiet year, and no wonder with all of the offensive problems. 3rd down and 10. Here's Clausen, and his pass thrown underneath to Tyrell Sutton, and Sutton with an extra jolt upfield, but is still shy of the first down yardage. And Carolina will have to kick it away.
When you can't throw the football effectively on first down, and you allow a defense to load up the box like the Saints are able to do and play man-to-man coverage with 8 or 9 men around the line of scrimmage, you're not going to be able to run. You're going to find yourself in these 3rd and longs, and Greg Williams will come after you.
Well, he started from the 3, so they got a little wiggle room there as Jason Baker kicks it to Lance Moore. Good kick by Baker. Moore at the 16. Still on his feet. And got away from the Panthers downfield, and a respectable return. Well, there's a new way to play fantasy football. Make real-time substitutions in a 20-minute fast-paced game. New games start every 15 minutes, so you can play now at foxsports.com/live. Interesting game and injuries. Jeremy Shockey is in the locker room. No word on what injury he has suffered. Jonathan Stewart, starting running back, out. Matt Moore also out, the quarterback. And here is Ivory on first down, barely getting back to the line of scrimmage, thanks to Sherrod Martin, the free safety.
This Panther defense is fun for me to watch. You know, I have a defensive background, and just to see them flying to the football and playing with the energy they're playing with and tackling well and coming downhill, this is good football right here now. This is good football.
In this era of spread offenses, when we're trying to use up more space, this game is actually being played smaller, closer to the middle of the field, because no one's able to stretch out the defensive backs right now.
2nd down and 10, and the pitch going to Chris Ivory. And he takes a hit from Chris Gamble and gets 3 yards, bringing up 3rd down for the Saints.
Jim, you had that defensive background. You talk about how much you like this team, this Panthers team. Ron Meeks, their defensive coordinator, to me is orchestrating as well as anyone in the league, considering the circumstances of this team.
Well, sure, he's had to shuttle linebackers in now. Once again, now Beeson has moved back to the inside in place of Connor and still playing well.
And Nick Harris is a former safety, now playing linebacker.
And Meeks used to be with the Colts. 3rd down and 7.
I think Everett Brown got Bushrod to jump again.
Well,
False start, offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty.
He got it.
It's 3rd down.
Right on the money. So Bushrod with his 2nd false start of the game. And so it'll be 3rd and 12 coming up for New Orleans.
Charles, you've talked a couple times in this game already about the Carolina defensive line lining up with nobody with their hand on the ground. Well, that affects the count of the offensive line, and so there's a lot of communication going on amongst the offensive linemen that makes it tough to concentrate on the snap count. Look at this.
Two defensive linemen. And Drew Brees pass, and it is caught by Marcus Colston. First down at the 41-yard line. Good protection that time for Drew Brees. And a gain of 16 keeps it going for the Saints.
Jim, I love what they're doing in terms of trying to confuse the blocking schemes. But if there's no pressure ultimately, I don't care how you cover, someone's going to find an open area. And that's what happened with Marcus Colston. No pressure on Brees. He's able to take his time, step into the throw for a big hit downfield to Colston.
Lavelle Betts with a burst and another first down as he gets into Carolina territory with a 12-yard gain. So 28 yards on 2 plays for the Saints, leading 7-3 with nearly 5.5 to play in the second quarter.
Just a simple lead, power play here to Betts, and this is what he does best, is run downhill, get behind his blockers, and then there's not a lot of moves down the field with Betts. This is I'm going to run you over.
On the 47 of the Panthers, Brees look left, goes right, caught by Colston, and another first down. And they get to the 35, another 12-yard pickup. 40 yards on 3 plays for the Saints.
What Marcus Colston gives you is 6'4", 225, is length and the ability to catch the football despite any type of tight coverage.
Julius Jones in the game, going outside, and Beeson gets it from tackle from behind, gets to the 29, getting 6 yards.
Sean Payton and Drew Brees both talked about the length of Colston and the ability to say, you know something, no matter if he's covered by someone, we don't consider him covered, because he uncovers himself so well with his body control, the length of his arms and wingspan. They can put it in different spots, and they feel confident he'll come down with the football, not the defender.
David Thomas, the tight end, wide to the left on 2nd and 4. Brees picking his spots, gets the first down to Thomas. And hitting immediately James Anderson, preventing any yards after the catch for New Orleans, but they're moving the ball smartly, and a first down of the 24 of the Panthers.
Well, this is really the first drive of the game where the Saints have played with the customary tempo that they typically play with, and that's getting in and out of the huddle, getting up to the line of scrimmage, and snapping it quick. They've been playing a little bit slower than they normally do.
Even jumped up out of a no huddle on one of the plays in this drive.
Good protection for Brees. He'll go to the ground to Julius Jones. And Jones getting to the 19, picking up 5. Saints leading by a score of 7-3. John Casey taking advantage of a Marshall interception, giving the Panthers a 3-0 lead before Brees hit Jeremy Shockey for the lead. And the Saints offense, as far as passing and third downs, has been good, and the running game had not been until today.
And that's what gave them a big edge last year, an overall organizational commitment to running the football, 6th in the league overall last year.
101 yards so far today. This will be play action, and Brees gets rid of it, and the pass caught, touchdown by Jimmy Graham. First NFL touchdown catch by the rookie Jimmy Graham, the 3rd-round pick from the University of Miami. A 19-yard pass and an impressive drive by the Saints.
And look at Drew Brees looking the defense off to one side, knowing that he wanted to come to the backside of the defense for the strike to Jimmy Graham, moved everyone with his body and his eyes, allowed Jimmy Graham to run his route on the backside for the touchdown.
Hartley with the extra point to give the Saints a 14-3 lead. Drew Brees has thrown 2 touchdown passes to 2 different tight ends.
Poor job here by the corner, Richard Marshall. Sometimes as a corner, when you're lined up on a tight end, you get a little bit too comfortable. And that's what happened there. Marshall, as you'll see from the wide shot here, takes a peek into the backfield. As Brees starts to move him, takes a peek into the backfield right there, looking into the backfield, loses track of his receiver. And with a guy like Drew Brees and the accuracy that he has on his throws, you can't do that, whether you're covering a wideout or a tight end.
Jeremy Shockey caught the touchdown pass early in the game in the first quarter. Then he got hurt. And now Graham with his first NFL touchdown reception. 9 plays, 73 yards. And Breeze picked up solid chunks of yardage to set up the touchdown situation. And that's got to be a little frustrating for a Carolina defense, which has played very hard in this first half and not getting much from the offense. Mike Goodson back deep. And it'll go out of the end zone. So it'll be a touchback. And I think at this point, if Carolina is going to challenge in this game, where do they get that offense from? From Clausen, the rookie quarterback.
Well, play action pass. They need to get something going on first and second down, play action pass. They've got to continue to try to run the ball, because if they get stuck in 3rd and long, it's going to be tough sledding, because Greg Williams will send the house at it.
And I know that it's a lot to ask of this Carolina defense is given everything that they've got, but some of that offense will have to come from them. They're going to have to make a key turnover and change field position, some type of a play that alters what New Orleans is doing on offense.
That's a great point, Charles.
There is Sutton, who has taken over the chief ball carrying duties since Jonathan Stewart went down. Picked up 3 on first down. And a timeout called by the Saints. That is their second timeout of this half. Sean Payton, who told us the other day that says we're not even close to playing our best football of the season, but here they are at 5-3 as they enter the second half of the season, and again controlling the ball and doing a great job rushing. 101 rushing yards so far for the Saints.
And when we talked with John Fox, he talked about he likes to look at yards per carry, yards per pass. What are we getting? What's our efficiency? That's less than 4 yards per play right there. That's not going to help you move the ball down the field and make a dent against this New Orleans defense.
2-yard gain on that first down brings up 2nd down and 8. Here's Sutton again. And he is pushed back. Forward progress was to the 25 by Shanley and Vilma, and another flag down.
Came from deep in the secondary from the back judge.
That's a face mask. Still too much.
Illegal hands to the face, defense number 55. That 5-yard penalty is enforced from the end of the run, and it results in an automatic first down.
That's the second illegal hands to the face penalty against the Saints defense. This one goes against Danny Clark, the linebacker.
Well, Dick, you asked where they're going to get their
charged
offense.
with their 3rd and final timeout.
So far, a lot of their offenses come from Saints penalties.
Yes.
They have the option not to call the timeout. Therefore, New Orleans has 1 timeout left.
The New Orleans was calling the early timeouts, Jim, to try and get the football back. They wanted to get 1 back and try to get another score. But that first down there tended to negate that strategy.
Yeah, that changed things for Sean Payton.
First down at the 29. Jimmy Clausen getting a rush. Getting away. Getting a first down as he reaches the 40-yard line. Jimmy Wilkerson finally brings him down. Remy Adele tried to get him. Chase him to no avail, and a first down as we get to the 2-minute warning. No matter how they do it, Saints getting first downs, penalties, scampers. Coming up, the Visa halftime report. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. NFC South showdown, and it's a close one between Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and what about the Vikings? Stay tuned. First down with 2 minutes to go in the half, and the screen pass to Tyrell Sutton. And he is put down by Tracy Porter after a gain of 1. The Panthers still have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Very good telestrator, Jim Mora. You found it.
Well, that was some bad penmanship right there. I got an F for that.
That'll be our 5th quarter penmanship.
Yeah. Send you to the blackboard. Second down and 9. Jim Mora, Charles Davis. Yours truly, Dick Stockton, here in Charlotte. Second down and 9. Sharper going back into coverage as Clausen nowhere to go, and down he goes. Second sack of the game by the Saints. Roman Harper, the safety, and a loss of the play of 7 yards. And a timeout is called by the Saints. It'll be their third and final.
And look, I'm trying to reach Brandon LaFell, the rookie receiver. But welcome back, Jabari Greer. He's got the coverage. So Jimmy Clausen trying to find him, can't throw it, has to pull it down, and Roman Harper, the other safety, gets the sack. We saw Darren Sharper retreat out of the line of scrimmage to go back into coverage. Roman Harper comes up, knocks down Clausen.
And we have a timeout. There you see the Carolina Panthers with only 9 passing yards. This is a team that's near the bottom of the league in rushing coming into this game. It'll be 3rd down and 16 for the Panthers.
Those numbers illustrate just what everyone says. This is a quarterback-driven league.
Panther receivers have caught 1 pass for only 3 yards, so they run the ball to Sutton. And Sutton just gets a couple of yards, and the crowd responds with a chorus of boos. And 4th down coming up. And there is Steve Smith, who has been a non-factor. And remember, this is a team that once had Jake Delhomme, and a team that won division titles a couple of years ago. They got to a Super Bowl, in fact, a few years ago.
And Steve Smith had a running mate named Muhsin Muhammad.
Yes.
Who they've not been able to effectively replace since his retirement.
Lance Moore is back deep, and Jason Baker will kick. Good kick. Fair catch by Moore at the 17, and there was contact, and there goes the flag. Marcus Hudson. Let's see whether he was blocked into Moore by Roby.
I don't think they're going to be able to call that as a block into him. There's contact there, but that was the momentum of Hudson at the end that finished the play.
Because he was blocked into him. That makes it not a foul.
Close enough that he was pushed in, and that's the ruling by Ed Hockley. So no timeouts left for the Saints, and they will have a 1st down with under a minute to go, and starting from the 17.
Well, close enough.
Well,
give him that.
Charles, here's my
Close
thing.
enough.
If they're going to call that a push in the back that caused the contact, then it's an illegal block in the back. So throw the
So
flag.
throw the flag for that.
No one in the backfield but Drew Brees. Double pumps Colston, and stops the clock with 50 seconds to go, and a 3-yard pickup.
You know, the fans were upset when John Fox ran the ball on 3rd down and had to punt it. I thought it was the right move because you've got a quarterback in there that's struggling. Offense is struggling to get any type of movement in this first half. Get rid of the football and put it back on the defense, which has been carrying you this whole game.
Brees is 15 of 23, 115 yards, 2 TDs and 1 pick. Dropped by Thomas. And he took a hit after the drop, didn't he, guys?
He was dropped after the drop by the captain.
Let's hear it. Ooh. That's Captain Munnerlyn, and if he keeps doing that, he'll be promoted to major. 3rd down and 7. Panthers could get the ball back, still with 3 timeouts left. Brees going up top. And it is caught by Lance Moore. Lance Moore with Martin and Munnerlyn there, and he got out of bounds to stop the clock with 39 seconds. Great catch by Moore, and a good throw, obviously, 36 yards.
He makes the hard catches look easy and has enough presence to get out of bounds, too.
And here's Brees. And Colson is there. And completion, clock running with a half a minute to go. The Saints have no timeouts left, so they'll hurry it up. Under a half a minute to go. Wide open is David Thomas. David Thomas stays in the field of play.
Oh, that was
stays in field, and the clock is going to run.
So now you're either going to try and spike it right here and then decide whether to kick the field goal or not.
They do spike it with 2 seconds to go.
He's got to get out of bounds. He's got to catch the football and get out of bounds. He's got to understand the situation right there. And David Thomas, a veteran in this league, one of the better backup tight ends in this league, and he knows it. Look at him shaking his head. Goes out of bounds. He saves them a couple of shots at the end zone.
That's terribly unaware, and Sean Payton will let him know it.
Drew Brees already has.
That's not excusable at this level to make a play like that.
So Hartley is on to try a 31-yard field goal. Saints were hoping for 7, and they get 3 and extend their lead on Hartley's 31-yard field goal to 17-3 as the first half comes to an end. 17 unanswered points. And Jimmy Clausen in relief of the injured Matt Moore. And that'll do it. We've completed the first half here in Carolina with the score. Saints 17, Panthers 3. And we'll be right back after these messages. All right, Kurt, thank you very much. We're back here. A beautiful day in Charlotte, but not for the Panthers, who trailed the Saints by a score of 17-3 at the half. And, of course, Matt Moore out with a shoulder injury. Jimmy Clausen had been the quarterback. 9 yards passing for the Panthers in the first half. Their longest passing thing was 8 yards. And the Saints have the lead. So, guys.
Well, that tells the story. They can't generate anything through the air, which allows this Saints defense to crowd the line of scrimmage, jump up and bump and run, load the box, and take away the run. Then they find themselves in 3rd and long with a rookie quarterback against a defensive coordinator with multiple looks, multiple blitz packages, and it is really, really tough right now on the Carolina offense.
And it's really tough on their defense playing well.
It makes it very tough on the defense, which has played well all year long, but they have to now take on that added burden of making a play that can actually help the offense. Can they get a pick 6? Can they knock the ball free and return it? Those are the tough things that they're going to be asked to do, but they will have to do them because this offense can be very, very difficult. They had their opportunities in the first half. They only paid them off with field goals.
Well, follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL as we prepare for the second half kickoff. The Panthers will get the ball first. Drew Brees was 18 of 27, 183 yards, 2 TDs, and 1 interception. Jimmy Clausen, 3 of 5 for 11. There is Mike Goodson back deep. And Thomas Morstead doing the kickoff duties today. Starts it with a low bounding kick off of Goodson. In trouble. And down he goes at the 3-yard line.
Do you know how difficult a start this is? Jim, you've been in these locker rooms. You're talking to your team about coming back. You're talking to your team about a fresh start for the second half. And you fumble around the kickoff, and you're going to start with the ball around the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, what looked like just a horrible kick turns into a great play, a great situation for the Saints, and just disastrous for the Panthers. Let's see if they can get it out of here, though. Maybe they can. Heck, that'd be great for them.
Tyrell Sutton with Jonathan Stewart injured. So Sutton, he is tackled, and Roman Harper got into the backfield quickly for the Saints, and a big gain of 1 yard. Let's look at the halftime numbers here, and a huge edge in total yards, 284 to 91 for the Saints.
And we talked in the first half a little bit about how they weren't quite in sync. How Drew Brees wasn't as sharp as he was supposed to be. And in the first half, these numbers seem to say that it's not as bad as we thought.
Malcolm Jenkins is the injured Saints defensive back. Jonathan Stewart went out when he was knocked to the head, a shoulder injury to Matt Moore. Jeremy Shockey also went out early after catching a touchdown pass. We'll take a break.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com, by autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars side by side at autotrader.com. By Domino's. Oh, yes, we did. And by Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Back here in Charlotte, and the story continues to get worse for the Panthers. Tyrell Sutton being carted off. So Mike Goodson is the only tailback left. 2nd down and 9 from the 6-yard line, and Goodson picks up a couple of yards.
Sutton here.
Dragged down, maybe the ankle underneath. But Jim, notice who's hitting him first. That's Roman Harper coming off the edge.
Yeah, almost every first down, the Saints are bringing a safety off the edge.
Remember, Malcolm Jenkins went off, and he was replaced by Jabari Greer. For Jimmy Clausen, it's 3rd down and 8 from the 7-yard line. Stepping up and throwing. Ball might have been tipped at the line, and it was. Steve Smith was the intended target. 4th down.
Traffic there, and when you can't get to the quarterback, what do? Get your hands up into the passing lanes. Look like Will Smith, number 91 in the middle. Can't get back to Clausen, jumps in the air. That's the ball away, working against Ryan Khalil, the center.
So now Lance Moore is practically at midfield to receive this punt from Jason Baker. 17 unanswered points for the Saints after the Panthers got that early field goal off the turnover. Good kick. Fair catch, and why not on your own 43. So the Saints and Drew Brees will go on offense for the first time in the 2nd half when we come back.
Save $523. 16 minutes could save you 16%. Come on. Isn't it time an auto insurer gave it to you straight? That's why you should talk to State Farm. But not yet. First, talk to any one of the 40 million drivers who already have State Farm. 40 million. Yeah, that's more than Geico and Progressive combined. By a lot. 40 million drivers, more savings, and discounts up to 40%. Where else are you going to get discounts like that?
Call an agent at 1-800-STATE-FARM or go online.
The dipper, the dunker, the grabber, the popper, the breaker, the shaker, the tipper, the topper, the twofer, the twister, the pincher, the plopper, the wedger, the wheeler, the scraper, the double dipper. However you like to top, pop, dunk, or dip, only Tostitos has your tortilla chip.
It's the sure sign of a good time. The just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Hey Lawrence, my parents want to talk to you.
Oh, about what?
They don't really think you're an exchange student.
What?
They think you're a businessman using our house to meet new clients in China.
For reals, player?
They overheard a phone call. Something about shipping with FedEx to Shanghai, and then you opened a bottle of champagne.
That was for a science project. I'm late for soccer rehearsal. You and I are cool. I'll be home by curfew.
We understand. You need a partner who can help you go global. FedEx.
Man behind the hood is Jeff Ota, the right tackle who hasn't played in the regular season. And talk about today with the injuries of Matt Moore, Jonathan Stewart, Dan Connor, the middle linebacker. And Tyrell Sutton just went off. Greg Hardy as well. It's a long list. Brees on 1st down gets hit from behind. And the pass is incomplete and a flag down.
Before the pass was thrown, illegal contact, defense number 31. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic 1st down.
Richard Marshall.
He's working against Marcus Colston. He's beyond the 5-yard zone. Gets a little hand on him. That's twice today we've seen a hand downfield, Jim, that I've got to say I'm a little...
When you look in the backfield like he did again there, and he did on the touchdown, and you're playing corner, that's when you get yourself in trouble. It's
automatic
technique.
1st down at the 48 of the Saints. using 3 running backs today. Chris Ivory is in there now. Ivory going outside and picks up a few yards as he got by Charles Johnson to pick up 5. Well, here is the really a laundry list of injuries to the Panthers. Matt Moore, the quarterback, went out. Jimmy Clausen in there now. Jonathan Stewart, who was starting because D'Angelo Williams, their leading rusher, couldn't play again. Greg Hardy, defensive end, with a head injury. You saw Tyrell Sutton a few moments ago being carted off with an ankle. And Dan Connor, who's had a hip injury during the week and was set to play, re-injured it. 2nd down and 5 on the 47 of the Panthers. Caught by Moore. And Moore close to the 1st down at the 43, covered by Marshall.
Coaches always give you the, it doesn't matter who's playing. If someone's hurt, next man up. But that's all well and good till you look at an injury list like that, and then you throw in Otah and you throw in Williams, and you're a young team as it is. It can be devastating.
Shy of the 1st down, 3rd down and 1. Here's Ivory, and he's got the 1st down to the 41-yard line. And this is a team that has 107 yards rushing to the Saints. Jones with 67, Ivory with 25, and Betts has 15.
Chris Ivory's a physical type of a running back. Built pretty compact, low to the ground. He'll push the pile when he carries the football. He's a high school fullback. Blocked for a guy named Vondrell McGee, who was one of those 5-star prospects at the University of Texas. So far, Chris Ivory finding his way despite not being heralded.
Julius Jones with the carry gets to the 39-yard line. And if you want information on the college players and the teammates, we're very fortunate to have Mr. Davis up here with us, because, you know, that's part of the 6 degrees of separation that we have with a lot of the players, Chuck.
You know, pretty soon we'll have Kevin Bacon and figure out how he could get into this discussion. So.
Still early here in the 3rd quarter. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, and Jim Mora. 2nd down and 8 from the 39-yard line. And Julius Jones, who played for Jim Mora at Seattle recently, this time it's a pass to Colston. And Colston may have enough for the 1st down to the 31. Well, you had Julius Jones, as did the Cowboys coach.
I did. I had him during my internship as the head coach there with the Seattle Seahawks. And Julius is a good kid, and I'm glad to see him getting a chance to run the ball here a little bit for the Saints. He deserves some success. He was successful when he was in Dallas, struggled a little bit in Seattle. It's good to see him back on the field and playing well.
Now look at this. Captain Munnerlyn comes off the field shaken up. I want to know what happens after your internship ends. 1st down, Chris Ivory on the pitch. And a straight arm for Chris Ivory, and he gets a couple extra yards. Not enough for the 1st down. Picks up 8.
Good hard runner. You want to talk about the internship?
Yes, I do.
I was just kidding around. I was fortunate, very fortunate, to spend a season with the Seahawks. It was not what I wanted, but it's a great organization, and they're doing well this year, and I wish them the best of luck.
And you know what? It's funny. You have a sense of humor, and
well, we got to have a little fun, don't we?
I think so, and we are having that.
And if it was an internship, it leads them right up here to us. So there's your laugh.
That's what I meant. What does it all mean? 2nd down and 2. Here's Breeze up the middle, and the pass caught by Marcus Colston, and a flag goes down after the play. Well, you could hear that crunching hit all the way up here.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 52. Contact to the helmet of a defenseless receiver. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
There's Colston, and there's the hit. And you know, with the increased emphasis, that's where the flag came from the backside. In terms of the, them getting the head involved. It looked to me like it was shoulder and then driving up through the receiver.
Look, I'm all for the rules, and I think we need to protect this game. We need to protect the players, but that's not an illegal hit. That's a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. So let's not get carried away, officials.
1st and goal at the 8. Ivory getting him to him first was James Anderson, who's had a fine year. You know, it's 17-3. A lot of injuries in this game, mostly to the Carolina Panthers, but their defense really playing a terrific game.
They continue to play and try and give their offense opportunities, but even as well as they've played today, they're going to start to wear down. This is a long, time-consuming drive coming from the Saints that the Panthers are trying to stave off.
Second and goal. Fade to Jones. No way. Out of bounds. Julius Jones. And defending was James Anderson, and doing a good job. The linebacker on the running back covering.
And this is where they miss Reggie Bush. And the reason I bring that up is there's the first foot, second foot comes down on the white, so an excellent call by the officials. But if that's Reggie Bush running that route, that's what he's used to doing. That's a big part of his game. One-on-one versus an outmatched linebacker, has the body control, goes up and catches it, and I'm pretty sure both feet come down because that's what he does every day.
Reggie Bush suffering the broken fibula week 2 against San Francisco. And a timeout called by the Saints as
Timeout New Orleans.
Sean
That's
Payton had to
first.
run all the way down to the 10 to get that timeout. And of course, Bush made the trip here and worked out before the game in the hopes that maybe he could be ready to go. He wasn't inactive today. Timeout New Orleans. We'll be right back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
And Captain Munnerlyn is back into the game, was shaken up and went to the sidelines for a couple of plays. It'll be third down and goal from outside the 10.
They've got to find a way to put some pressure in Drew Brees' face.
Brees, Julius Jones, and there's that man Anderson again, making the play and forcing fourth down.
Jim, sometimes when there's not enough pressure on a quarterback, doesn't that work well for the defense if you try and screen them? They're not getting back to the quarterback enough to create space. So when you screen, you're actually screening into where the rush is.
Yeah, the best time to throw a screen is versus pressure. Man-to-man defense, when you're getting guys up the field in the quarterback's face, and then there's a lot of field to run. That was zone defense and well played.
Loss of 8 yards, so now Hartley is on to try a 36-yard field goal. And the kick puts 3 more on the board. Second field goal for Hartley, and the Saints have up their lead to 20-3. A reminder, next week the NFL on Fox doubleheader, Game 1, Vikings at Bears or Panthers at Bucks. And then America's Game of the Week will feature the Cowboys and the Giants NFC East battle. The Ford Fox pregame show begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150, built Ford tough. So it's 20-3 now. The Saints in front, and Morstead kicking off. Jordan Pugh is the deep man for the Panthers. Picks it up on the short hop from the 2. Jordan Pugh. Terrific return, close to the 35. So injuries today for the Panthers. Jonathan Stewart was the first one.
And then after that, Matt Moore on the sack. He goes out. And then there he is going to the locker room to get some attention. And from the end, and then this here in the second half, Tyrell Sutton goes down. So they've got 3 running backs out now. There's Jeff Otah with the big braids.
D'Angelo Williams.
My goodness, so many great players sitting over there on the sidelines.
David Geddes with the catch, and nothing there for a game break. Let's check in with Kurt again.
While the Falcons extending their lead against Tampa Bay, Matt Ryan hooking up with the third-team tight end, Michael Palmer. Undrafted free agent out of Clemson scores his first NFL touchdown, and the Falcons now lead it by 10 in the third. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
And Michael Palmer, not only an undrafted free agent out of Clemson, a homeboy from the Atlanta area, scoring his touchdown in front of the home folks.
Play action. Caught by Rosario. Dante Rosario gets it out to the 40-yard line. Gain of 5 yards. So the Panthers, you mentioned it, Jim, at the outset, ball control was important to them. Hasn't worked out that way.
No, they wanted to come in here, run the ball for a number of reasons. Number one, it's what they do best. And number two, if you can run the ball effectively and keep the Saints off the field, you've got a chance. It just hasn't happened. You lose your top running back today, as well as D'Angelo Williams, who didn't suit up, and then you lose Sutton.
You lose a lot. 3rd and 4, incomplete. Rosario again, and good defense that time by Roman Harper, so it'll be 4th down. Saints, by the way, trying to sweep the Panthers for the first time since 2001. It's been that long, and that shows you what kind of thorn that the Panthers have been in the side. But when you're decimated the way the Panthers are, Charles, there's not much you can do.
No, there's really not. And right now the Saints defense is playing with no fear whatsoever of being stung downfield. And there's a fake.
And getting the first down, number 57, Jordan Sand. And let's see where they mark it. It appeared he had enough for the first down, needed to get to the 44.
Well, short snap. It was diagnosed well, but Send's determined running made it close to a first down. They're going to measure this to see if he actually got there. See him pulling, reaching?
I think he has it, and he does. It's a first down for the Panthers, and why not?
Ran through the tackle of Matt Giordano, trying to bring him down in the open field. If it wasn't for Sen's strength, Giordano diagnosed it well and would have brought him down before the first down marker.
Jim, isn't it amazing how the Panthers have managed to get some first downs?
I love it. Penalties and fake punts, and hey, whatever it takes.
Jimmy Clausen scrambling.
First down, Clausen with a short drop, looking for a receiver, and Goodson, ball fleeing through his hands, incomplete.
This is good. You know, I'm going to look at the bright side, all right? Can I take a look at the bright side?
Yes, you may.
This is really good for Jimmy Clausen. Okay, he has to come in. He's playing the defending Super Bowl champs. He's down 20-3. He's lost 3 of his top 4 running backs. They're putting what a great learning experience for this young man, who certainly is going to be the future of this franchise at that position.
I'll tell you who it's really bright for, the New Orleans Saints. They go on and win this game. Here is Clausen, and going deep this time for Steve Smith. Let's see if it is. It is Steve Smith with the catch. Flag goes down.
The Saints are indicating this may come back with offensive pass interference against Steve Smith.
27 yards. Will it hold up?
A slight
Pass
push.
interference, offense number 89. Pushed off.
That's as bad as a
down.
call in the first quarter on the Saints.
Now, the one thing I'll say, Jim.
I'm speechless, Charles.
Okay, but the one thing I will say is they've been consistent all day.
Yeah, consistently poor.
In terms of what we would consider minor push or just a little hand on the body. That flag has come out every single time today.
I'm a defensive back coach by nature.
I'm a defensive back, so you know how I vote.
There's no way that's offensive. There's no way that's offensive pass interference.
I don't disagree, but all day long, they have been consistent. Anything close, that flag has come out.
The biggest offensive play of the game gets called back for the Panthers. So it's 2nd down and 20. Here's Clausen again, nowhere to go. Receivers covered well downfield, and Jimmy Clausen throws it out of bounds.
Well, that's a situation where Brandon LaFell, who's running down the sideline, has to recognize. Oh, and Clausen looks like he's dinged up. But that's a situation where LaFell's got to work back down the sideline and give Clausen somewhere to throw the football, and he just kept running up the field.
And Steve Smith out of the ball game now. So now you're talking about strictly rookies running out at the wide receiver position in LaFell and David Geddes. David Clowney's now in the game, too.
Clowney is in the game. Former New York Jet. Tyrell Sutton, by the way, won't return with his ankle injury. Mike Goodson is all they've got. And it's Goodson on the receiving end. Goodson diving toward midfield is tackled at the 48. And it's 4th down. Jabari Greer on the tackle. So it's 4th down. Jason Baker comes out again. How many times Seahawks. Can you fake the punt?
Hey, maybe they got another one. And this is when you would least expect it.
They've already done it once.
Do it again.
Do it again, right? Play against type.
No, they're getting punt safe this time. Look how the Saints are lined up. They're not going to let this happen again.
Yeah, you're hoping to change field position if you're the Carolina Panthers and give your defense an opportunity.
Those three guys right there are said, don't let them fake it.
Lance Moore is going to let the ball bounce. And the Saints will take it out at the 20-yard line, leading 20-3 with 5:24 left in the third. Go to NFL.com's Game Center for Week 9 live game stats, fan discussions, in-game video highlights, and more only at NFL.com/scores. First down, Chris Ivory. And Ivory picks up about 2 yards. Now the Saints, leading 20-3, have run the ball effectively today, and Drew Brees has thrown 2 touchdown passes, both to tight ends. Shockey was one, and we haven't seen him since early. Julius Jones, 69 yards and 116 rushing for New Orleans, and Colston having a solid day.
There, such judicious use of the different guys that he can throw the ball to. Whether it's the wide receivers, tight ends, running backs.
This time he goes to the receiver, Robert Meacham, as a first down. And for a game break, here's Kurt Menefee.
We showed you the Falcon touchdown against the Bucs. They added a field goal, and on the kickoff after that, Tampa Bay looked flustered on the kickoff return until Michael Spurlock picked it up, broke a couple of tackles. 89 yards later, it's now a 6-point game. 27-21 Atlanta leads towards the end of the third quarter. A good game there, Dick, Charles, and Jim.
Boy, that's why you want to be flustered in a game just like that, right?
That's the man who ran the first kickoff in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history.
Yes.
Back for a touchdown.
First down at the 35. Brees looked underneath. Then he hits Jimmy Graham, the rookie tight end. So Graham and Thomas having to play with Shockey hurt. And Graham with his first NFL touchdown catch in the second quarter. And a gain of 17.
Offense never ran through Jimmy Graham when he played basketball at the University of Miami. Today, he's starting to think maybe I could be the guy. And he's playing quite well for them. Sean Payton told us he was getting better, he was improving, and they had special packages in this game for him, and we're seeing those.
On the 48 of the Panthers. Devery Henderson went in motion, but they hand off to Ladell Betts. Runs right into Beeson. And no gain. Well, coming into today, 5-2 record the Falcons, undefeated at home this season and leading, although it's a close one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers leading the NFL with 14 picks, 4 fourth-quarter comebacks, thanks to Josh Freeman. And, of course, these Saints leading the NFL with 16 touchdown passes and the third fewest yards allowed per game in the NFL. And Drew Brees has thrown 2 more today to make it 18. And Atlanta up by 6 late in the third in Atlanta. 2nd and 9. Good protection. Brees had nowhere to go. Incomplete, out of bounds.
Charles, you mentioned Jimmy Graham and working him into the offense this week. And I think what this shows is just how resourceful Sean Payton is. He recognizes the strengths of his players, and then he puts them in positions where he can utilize those strengths and get them the football. And a lot of these guys are names that aren't as common as some of the other names in the league, and yet they're productive players because Sean gives them a chance by putting them in the right spots.
3rd down and 9 on the 47 of Carolina. Drew Brees nearly intercepted by Munnerlyn. Lance Moore was Brees' target on that play. And 4th down upcoming.
Well, they made Drew Brees clutch a couple of times before he was able to put the ball downfield. He gets inside of Munnerlyn, but he's able to catch up and undercut the route and knock the ball away.
You know, guys, what about the depth? We knew last year the Saints had a lot of depth in the wide receiver department. Now, because of the injuries to Thomas and Bush, they have 3 running backs. How many teams have as much depth in those skill positions?
Well, Not many, and I know that there's one in black here today that wishes they did.
Morstead kicking it away. Munnerlyn lets it bounce, and it's going to be down inside the 5 by Roby. Doesn't get any easier for the Carolina Panthers, and why not, against the defending Super Bowl champions. Trying to put their foot down, and we'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's broadcast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. And thanks for all you do. We salute all of you, and we hope you are enjoying today's telecast. The Saints trying to go to 6-3 on the year, and knowing that Tampa Bay and Atlanta battling for first place at 5-2. Steve Smith in the lineup from his end zone. Jimmy Clausen knocked away. Good defensive play by Harper on the pass intended for Gary Barnidge.
Jim, you talked about Roman Harper being unblocked off the edge on first downs. This time he does not come off the edge. He drops back into coverage, and fortunate that he does, helping deflect the ball from Gary Barnidge, but it appeared that that was one Barnidge could have caught.
No, Barnidge needs to make that catch. You got a rookie quarterback playing. You're struggling on offense. You've got to make that catch.
Goodson. No gain. 3rd and 10. John Fox has never been swept by the New Orleans Saints, and that is in danger today. There you see the wide receivers, no factor today, with Moore early, and now Clausen, and the running backs and tight ends have caught 7 of the 9. But when you look at 27 yards passing net. 3rd and 10. Here comes the pressure by Bilba. Caught, and it'll be a first down as Brandon LaFell had forward progress, and another first down for Carolina. Got 11 yards.
What are they going to say to Tracy Porter in film on this one? Talk about the corner for the Saints. All out blitz, everyone coming. Vilma forces the pop fly. I mean, this is one where he could have probably put his hand up and called for the ball. I've got it.
Hey, let me tell you something. Jimmy Clausen was throwing that ball away. He just couldn't get it out there far enough.
That was an infield fly. Drills this one to Jeff King. First catch of the day out to the 21-yard line. Gain of 7 on first down. And with 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter, I go back to what Jim said. You know, you're right on the hurry up now by Carolina. Clausen's getting some good experience.
This is good for him. It really is good for him against a good defense to be put in this situation.
Clausen's pass intercepted. Jabari Greer. Greer is going to score.
That's not good for him.
And that is the first defensive touchdown of the season for the New Orleans Saints. The first defensive score by New Orleans this year.
Sure looked like a Tampa 2 coverage from Greg Williams. They've shown blitz before. Now they go Tampa 2 with the corners curled up, rolled up, and Jabari Greer reads the route, almost clues the route. Watch him here. Sees it. See, he's looking right back at the quarterback. He wasn't even looking at the receiver. Clued right back into him, saw the drop, broke on the football, and off he goes back the other way. As the Saints would say, welcome back, Jabari Greer. Glad you're here.
Hartley with the extra point, and the kick is good, and it's now 27-3 in favor of the Saints. So as we mentioned, 7 defensive touchdowns, leading the league last year, number 1, and Greg Williams' defensive unit finally gets a score.
I mean, Greg Williams is one of those guys, and Jim, you've heard it so many times, you either, right, live on the edge or you die on the porch. And these guys choose to live on the edge on defense, and look at them now, trying to get back to the form they had last year, their first score on defense this year.
Well, they're certainly picking up steam on defense this season. They've had about 4 or 5 weeks now where they have just played outstanding football. And then to get Darren Sharper back, who's a catalyst in terms of taking the football away, and I think that has an impacting effect on the rest of the players. You know, they feed off of that energy that Darren Sharper brings and that attitude of, hey, we're not just going to stop them, we're going to take the ball back.
He's a ball magnet. When he's on the field, the ball finds it, whether it's an interception, whether it's picking up a fumble. We saw him earlier today with a big hit on the run that knocked it free from Jonathan Stewart. His impact is felt throughout the defense.
You can see the infectious spirit he has even when he's not on the field. So 7 defensive touchdowns and 2 more on returns last year by the Saints. And they get number 1 here. Jordan Pugh, good return last time by Pugh, and not bad now as he gets it out to the 26 with about a half a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter.
The way the Panthers play on defense and special teams, which is really, really solid. If they could just be halfway decent on offense, they'd be a good football team. The problem is they're very young on offense, and they're fighting the injury bug.
Speaking of injury bugs, shaken up on the field there is Stanley Arnaud of the Saints. Their biggest injury today was Jeremy Shockey, who caught a touchdown pass from 7 yards out in the 1st quarter, then got hurt and is in the locker room. No word on what that injury is, but he has not been back.
He got hurt on the touchdown catch. Remember, he took the shot in the back. Of course, we don't know what the injury is, but he hasn't returned since then.
For a game break, here's Kurt Menefee. Kurt, what do you have for us?
The Buffalo Bills still looking for their first win of the season. Maybe they should go outside the country to get it. Corey McIntyre scoring a touchdown in Canada, this game in Toronto. They missed the 2-point conversion, so Buffalo leads Chicago 19-14 in the 4th quarter. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
Nothing like needing your passport to get a victory.
What's the exchange rate on points when you go across the border?
I don't know. Not good for Arnaud, who is limping off the field.
Hate to see that. He missed all of last year with an Achilles tendon injury. So he missed all of his rookie season. Now you see him limping off again after becoming a core special teamer for the Saints this year.
Jabari Greer, you mentioned welcome back Jabari Greer, Charles, inactive the last 2 weeks with a shoulder injury. Tracy Porter, who's been out 4 weeks with left knee surgery. Greer didn't start. Jenkins, who is a safety, versatile guy, could also play corner, did, but right now those 2 corners, they're regulars, back for the first time since week 4 when they played the Panthers the first time.
And looking like they're having some fun by the display of joy on Tracy Porter's face there.
First down at the 26. The 2 rookies, LaFell and Geddes, split to the right, to the bottom of your picture. For Jimmy Clausen. False start.
Offense, number 12.
Yes, it was
5-yard penalty.
David Geddes.
First down.
So 1st and 15 now facing Carolina.
And the Carolina bench didn't even have to wait for Ed Hockley to make the call. As soon as the belly flag went out, I heard from the bench, Geddes! They knew right away.
These numbers reflect what we've seen today, and really what the Panthers have been faced with all year offensively. And another whistle. Flag.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Center Ryan Khalil.
Well,
5 more.
They've just got to fight through this. They can't get frustrated. They can't lose their composure. It's a young group. They've got a rookie quarterback, but somehow, some way, right now, they've just got to find a way to fight through this, to maintain some composure, to make some plays, and to use this as a learning experience.
First down and 20. Now back to the 16. Jimmy Clausen on the run, trying to get it to Geddes. Incomplete. And second down and 20 coming up. Moore was 3 for 6 for 13 yards, and I want to update you on Clausen, 8 for 17 for 47 and an interception.
That seemed to be a play that he should have made with his legs instead of trying to make it with his arm.
I agree with
I know
you,
that's
Charles.
not his #1 thing, but
There was a lot of green grass and white lines out in front of him.
Darren Sharper.
And that's
shaken
not good.
Up. Nope. Sama Young will take his place. Made his first start today. Third game back. 2nd and 20. Off the hands of Smith. And it'll be 3rd down and 20 for Carolina.
Is that one of those where Steve was wondering, did someone grab me or did I just not make the play? Kind of looked around. Should I signal for a flag? It's just one of those days, and it's been a while for the Panthers. Not just a day, it's been weeks for them trying to get this offense in gear and get downfield.
1 of 9 in 3rd down conversions, and they need 20 right here. Jimmy Clausen goes down, and it's Lee Torrance. Clausen back down to about the 2-yard line, and the 3rd time that Panther quarterbacks have been sacked, a loss of 14 yards, and they'll have to kick from the end zone, and they don't have much wiggle room back there either. So the Saints leading 27-3 will let this Panthers letting this clock run down with 1 second to go, and that'll do it for the 3rd quarter. And we will have a punt from the end zone when we start. That's the end of the 3rd quarter here in Carolina, where things aren't fine at all. 27-3, Saints in front. Artistic view of Jason Baker punting from the back of the end zone as we start the 4th quarter here at Bank of America Stadium. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, and Jim Moore with you. Lance Moore practically at midfield, anticipating good field position, a low kick, and Moore from the 45, and good coverage downfield, and is tackled at the 46-yard line. So the Saints will start this possession in Carolina territory. So we know what the situation. We've been talking about the Panthers' problems, unable to throw the ball. The receivers have caught like 2 passes all game. And so now the Saints have good field position. What do you do now? You've been in this situation really as a coach without your quarterback, without Matt Hasselbeck.
You just keep fighting. I mean, that's all you can do is you just keep fighting. You go battle every down, down after down. You just implore your guys, just keep fighting, keep digging deep.
They're professionals. That's what they are. They're first down on the 46. And the pass caught, knocked out of bounds by Lance Moore.
These guys are pros, okay, and they have a lot of pride. They didn't get to where they are in their professional career without a competitive instinct and competitive drive and a will to just fight through adversity. And that's what they've got to do right now, and it'll pay dividends down the road. It's hard today, but it'll pay dividends down the road.
And then you have veterans like Jordan Gross who have been with this team and have seen both sides of this. He remembered being a young guy, and he talked about young guys now. They don't really know what the downside is. They're just showing up to play, trying to play to the best of their abilities. They don't know about being on a team that's been to an NFC Championship game and been on a team that's been to a Super Bowl and understand what this is like. So they still have to learn that lesson. The veterans are trying to guide them along. But as they've all said, and I even talked to Matt Moore before the game, and I said, can you really pinpoint what, and he said, we've tried. We can't really put a finger on why we're not doing the things we've done in the past with basically the same personnel.
I want to shift this over to the Saints and the fact that they're headed, for a 6-3 record. And there's been a lot of talk of which is the strongest team in the NFC. And of course, a lot of people liking the Giants. They play Seattle later on.
Well, it's hard for me to argue with the defending champ Saints. And if Drew Brees plays well, they're going to get Reggie Bush back. They've developed some running backs. We know that they've got an outstanding receiving core. And now we're seeing the emergence of some young talent at the tight end position. Couple that with the way they're playing on defense and then the takeaways that they're starting to get. And they look like a very powerful team the second part of this season.
Charles, How good is Atlanta vis-a-vis challenging the Saints with that experience in the second half of the year?
Oh, they're very good because they've already gone to the Superdome and beaten the Saints. So they have that in their hip pocket already and that confidence that they can go ahead and play. It's going to be interesting the second go-round if the Saints have more of their weapons back. But Atlanta, definitely they can challenge.
Morstead, they are challenging. And the question will be as the kick goes out of bounds and they'll mark it inside the 10-yard line or at the 10-yard line, is that can they do it? And they will have one more game before the end of the season. New quarterback coming in.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. More people go with Visa. By Cadillac, the new standard of the world. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Tony Pike is the quarterback. He is the third quarterback, so Jimmy Clausen could come back because it is the fourth quarter. And the Panthers starting from the 10-yard line. Mike Goodson stopped by Roman Harper. Pike, 6th-round pick out of the University of Cincinnati. And Charles, of course, you saw him. He led Cincinnati to the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, and a 16-3 record. Pretty impressive.
Very impressive. Ran that fast break style of offense under Brian Kelly, now the head coach at Notre Dame, and threw the ball a lot while he was there and also battled a bunch of injuries.
King incomplete. Jeff King on that pass that was short. So 3rd down and 7 for the Panthers, who trail 27-3 early here in the 4th.
You know, I'm not sure I'd put Pike in. I think Clausen's your future. And you've got a situation here where you're down 27-3, you're down 24 points in the 4th quarter, so you're going to be throwing the ball a lot. You know, I'd leave the young guy in and put him through some growing pains and let him play.
3rd down and 7 from the 13. Pike going up on top for Geddes, and it's short. Covered by Tracy Porter, who had position on Geddes downfield. Geddes has caught one pass today for no yards. Brandon LaFell.
Offense number 67. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
Two catches for LaFell, and Steve Smith shut out. He did make a catch for 27 yards, nullified because of an offensive pass interference.
Interesting, Jim, you brought that up about whether to play Clausen or not. Let him play through some adversity. We just had the World Series where Nolan Ryan, running the Texas Rangers, has said enough with this pitch count stuff. Let these guys battle through. They end up in the World Series. Interesting point you make. Some people don't want to go through that adversity.
Jason Baker's kick, Lance Moore, and it bounces and it's down. And they'll mark it right around close to midfield. So Tony Pike getting an opportunity today. We'll be right back. Saints ball. We're going to talk about who the best team in the NFC is after this play. 1st and 10 at the 48. Hand off to Chris Ivory. Still on his feet. And Ivory gets about 5 yards. Well, today's NFL poll question is, who is the best team in the NFC? Go to foxsports.com/vote. Adam Kaplan breaks down the top NFC teams to help you vote. And of course, you're looking at the coach of one of them, and as Jim mentioned, you know, until you're unseated as the world champion, hard to go against them.
Uneasy lies the head, though, upon which the crowd rests, because they get everyone's best shot each and every week.
Ivory breaking a tackle, and finally Godfrey will bring him down. It's a 1st down to the 36. A little Shakespeare from Charles Davis. I like that.
You know, it's interesting though, when you watch the Saints team, what they have been working on is what Jim talked about earlier in this game: consistency. Because how many times have we seen this year where the Saints have played a dynamic game and Chris Ivory goes out of the game with a shoulder injury, it appears, and come back and laid an egg the next week? They blow out Tampa Bay, right? Looks like they've got it together. Cleveland comes in and gets them. You know, earlier this year, they lose to Arizona after opening the season impressively against Minnesota on a Thursday night. Today, finally putting two of them together in a row. Not bad.
The only other time they won 2 straight was in the beginning of the season, and a timeout called by the Saints. By the way, Darren Sharper, you remember he limped off the field with a hamstring, questionable as to his return, and we'll check back with you in a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
Timeout called by the Saints. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 36 of Carolina. Breeze pitching to Julius Jones off the left side, and good defensive play by Nick Harris, who came in for Dan Connor, who had a hip injury. And there is Ivory. You pointed him out, Charles, shaken up before. There he goes.
This has been a tough game for both sides. When you look at the number of guys who've gone off the field and had to go to the locker room for attention, and both sides hoping to have those guys back for next week's game.
Well, these are two physical teams, and you know, we've made a lot of mention about the Carolina defense and how well they play and how physical they are. But the Saints defense is equally as tough and physical.
Second down and 11, and they hand off to Liddell Betts. And Betts stopped by Anderson, no gain, and Sean Payton told us that there would be the running back rotation, and it couldn't have worked out any better for them.
Well, they got the #1 guy, which was Chris Ivory. They wanted to get him about 15 carries. He just went to the locker room for attention, close to that. And they wanted to split 15 carries if they could between Betts and Julius Jones. Hasn't worked out perfectly, but I think the balance is about what Sean Payton was looking for.
They missed this guy, though, right here. And I'll tell you why right after this play here, Dick.
3rd down and 11. Breeze's pass. Did he stay in bounds with his feet? Lance Moore? Yes, he did. It's a catch and a 1st down inside the 25. 14 more yards for New Orleans.
Besides the first run of the game, the big, long breakaway run by Julius, you've seen some holes. You've seen the Saints offensive line create some holes, but you're seeing the backs get tripped up a little too often in the hole. And Reggie Bush gives you that extra step that you need to turn a 2-yard gain into an 8, 10, 20, or all the way to the house yard gain.
Challenge here by the Panthers.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field that the pass was complete.
How about this route and then throw and catch? Lance Moore trying to keep his feet in bounds. That's being challenged by the Panthers.
No problem with the control part. Carolina Panthers are challenging the ruling on the field that this is a completed pass to Lance Moore. Both feet in bounds as he left the field. He had the control. You see any reason to change things, guys?
It's got to be indisputable. And I don't see
the ruling on the field stands as called. The pass was complete. 1st down.
So that's the second challenge today. The Saints challenged in the first half and won the challenge, and the Panthers lose here in the timeout, their first of the second half. 27-3, the Saints in front. Early in the game, a turnover, an interception by Richard Marshall ran at 67 yards. Panthers settled for a field goal, and that's all they've scored. 1st and 10 at the 23 of Carolina. Pass caught by David Thomas. Gets inside the 15, close to yet another 1st down.
When you get in a game like this and you're Sean Payton, it gives you an opportunity to work on some things that maybe you wouldn't be able to work on in a closer game, and that's getting the ball to some of the guys that don't normally touch it, like David Thomas. Maybe work in some of the run plays that haven't been successful for you so far this year that you need to be successful to have success long term.
2nd down and 1. Liddell Betts gets a 1st down to the 11-yard line as the Saints threaten for more for a game break. Let's check in again with Kurt Menefee.
Minnesota trying to keep hope alive, not only in this game, but on their season. Adrian Peterson scores from 4 yards out, pulls them to within 7, 3.5 minutes to go against Arizona. Dick, Charles, and Tim.
Boy, there's been a lot of stories about what a loss to Arizona would mean for Brad Childress. But game is still in progress. 1st and 10. Play action. Breeze trying to get away and throws the ball away just as he was being dumped by Tyler Brayton.
Drew Brees isn't known for being one of those great guys in terms of foot speed and moving in and out of the pocket. But I will say this, I think he's terrific in terms of getting outside the pocket, knowing when to get rid of the football. He makes some nice plays that way.
Yeah, you know, Charles, you make a great point. Mobility doesn't necessarily mean the ability to run down the field with the ball or outside the pocket, but what Drew Brees can do is extend a play with his foot quickness and agility in the pocket.
2nd down and 10. Here is Liddell Betts. And Betts getting to the 10-yard line. And look, before was Chase Daniel, who was the backup to Drew Brees. 2nd-year undrafted player from the University of Missouri. And Drew Brees continuing to play. And does the question loom here as to when do you take out Brees?
I don't think that you take him out in the middle of this drive. I think that after this drive, Chase Daniel may very well finish out the ball game. But I think they want to see Drew Brees in the offense finish on a high note and feel good to finish this ball game.
3rd down and 9. Brees to the end zone and nearly picked off by Marshall. A flag is down. Lance Moore was the intended receiver, never had a chance to get to him, and Marshall had it in and out of his hands.
I think it's going to go against Richard Marshall on the corner working against Lance Moore.
Defense. Number 31 was not playing the ball. The ball is placed at the spot of the correction at the 1-yard line. 1st down.
Been a tough day for the cornerbacks, really both sides in terms of how the game's been called, but I think this one's a good one. Lance Moore, 16, work against Marshall, 31. Already has his hands on him. Then he runs into him, trying to go through his body. I think that's an excellent call in the end zone. Interference against Richard Marshall.
1st and goal at the 1. Liddell Betts close to the goal line. And touchdown. Liddell Betts goes over for the touchdown to extend the Saints' lead. And for Betts, his 2nd touchdown rushing this season. And a drive that started on the Saints' 48-yard line. They didn't have to go far to get this touchdown.
That's just effort. Just powered his way through. I mean, sometimes you have to be fancy. Sometimes you have to have the X's and O's look just right. You just take the bodies and move them. And Betts found a way to get it across the goal line.
So now Garrett Hartley is on for the extra point. And Hartley's kick is good. 34-3 is the lead. The most points the Saints have scored this year. 34 points. They scored 31 at Tampa Bay. So the Saints have done their most productive games on the road against divisional opponents. Well, next weekend on FSN, it's a college football Saturday Big 12 doubleheader. First, Daniel Thomas leads Kansas State against Blaine Gabbert and powerful Missouri. Then Texas A&M looks to shut down Robert Griffin. And Baylor's drive to a bowl berth. Who will rise and fall in the Big 12? That's college football Saturday next weekend on FSN. Check your local listings for the start time in your area. The Big 12, Charles.
Did you take a look? Did you see what Kansas State did to Texas last night?
Ooh.
Did anyone think that was, would they run 39 unanswered? 39 straight to start against the Texas Longhorns or some number like that? That was unbelievable. And Baylor, if you have not seen Robert Griffin play at quarterback, I know they lost yesterday, but he is as exciting a player in college football at that position as I've seen outside of Cam Newton.
Well, it must make Josh Freeman feel very good. And let's see if he can engineer a fourth quarter comeback today. Meanwhile, Jordan Pugh is back deep for the Panthers, and Thomas Morstead will kick off with 8:12 to go. 31-point lead for the New Orleans Saints. And Pugh brings it out to the 27-yard line. And Pike again coming out to lead his team. Text USO to 27722 to donate $10 to USO. And again, we want to salute our viewers watching today's game an American Forces Network all over the world. And thank you, all you men and women, for everything you do for us here. First down at the 26. Tony Pike with his second series. Here's Mike Goodson. Maybe a yard.
Jim, if you're coaching the Saints defense now with this time frame, we always talk about offense and maybe you've got a big lead and how you run the clock out and not pile things on. What do you do if you're Greg Williams in this situation? Do you continue to attack the way that you play, or do you play more zones in this situation?
Well, you play more zones, but you don't ever take your foot off the throttle defensively. Playing defense is about attitude. You've got to keep that attacking attitude no matter what the score is.
Goodson. First down and upended by Sama Young, who came in for Darren Sharper, who came out of the game with a hamstring pull.
Speaking of an attacking attitude, take a look at Greg Williams, upset about that run. He doesn't care what the scoreboard says.
Well, I think he doesn't want to give up a touchdown, right?
Well, no, I mean, he's striving for perfection, and that's what it's all about. It's all about playing as well as you can play, no matter what the score is and no matter who you're playing.
Pike goes underneath to Goodson, and Goodson is tripped up that time by Danny Clark. Keep in mind, we were talking about the fact that the Panthers hadn't scored a touchdown in the first quarter this year. They have not scored a touchdown in this game and have a total of 88 points scored for the season in this, their 8th game. 2nd and 8 up the middle. And the catch is made by Jeff King. And he appears to get enough for the first down, pending a penalty marker.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 69. Late hit on the pile. 15-yard penalty, first down.
The tag it on Anthony Hargrove.
Yeah, that's good hustle to a point. I have trouble faulting him for that, and I think that the Saints coaches will have trouble faulting him for that, because to me that's just playing hard, it's playing physical. It's what I just talked about. No matter what the score is, who you're playing, where you're playing, how much time's left on the clock, you want your team to play hard, and that's what Hargrove was doing there. He was playing hard.
First down on the 38. Goodson breaks out of the pack and loses his footing about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. With under 6 minutes to go, Goodson's running hard today, and if you just happen to be flipping your dial, Jonathan Stewart, who started in place of D'Angelo Williams again because of his injury, went out with a head injury. Here is Goodson again, and he'll have the first down. And then Tyrell Sutton was injured as well, suffering an ankle problem. And Matt Moore, who is the quarterback, went out as well. And a slew of Panther injuries really took them out of this game for whatever they might have achieved. First down at the 26. Tony Pike completes to King. Jeff King with the reception.
Greg Williams is not enjoying this drive at all. Greg Williams is the kind of coordinator that is going to keep his foot on the throttle, and he's going to try to put a nail in the coffin, and he doesn't want to give up yards. And it's about pride, it's about domination, it's about being the best. Look at the emotion and the passion that he's showing still this late in the game, and with a commanding 31-point lead. And that's why he's one of the best, and that's why their defense is one of the best, because they play with that attitude.
And flipping it around for Carolina, for Tony Pike, it couldn't be better right now in terms of trying to engineer a drive, even though they're down big, getting his first experience in the NFL.
Here is Mike Goodson. The Atlanta Falcons have won. That may be the highlight we get. We'll see. Let's go out to Hollywood.
Well, Minnesota was down by 2 touchdowns with less than 5 minutes left, but Brett Favre, with under a minute to go, hooks up with DeSanti Shanko, 25-yard score. They had tied it at 24. We'll get you out there, time permitting. Dick?
Amazing. Favre does it again. And throwing it away is Pike. So Atlanta won that game. They beat Tampa Bay, but now Minnesota fights back against Arizona. Let's check the NFC South. Atlanta now 6-2 with a 1-game lead over Tampa Bay. And New Orleans, with a 6-3 record, would be in second place, a half a game behind Atlanta.
Be tough for Raheem to call his team the best team in the NFC anymore. But I will give him this. They have been extremely competitive, much more competitive than I think anybody thought they would be at this point in the season. And they're not going to go away lightly. They'll come back and fight hard next week.
4th and 3 for the Panthers on the 19. Pike will go down, and the Saints will take over on downs. Jeff Charleston. 4th sack of the game by the Saints defense. And New Orleans will take over on downs at the 30.
Will that make Greg Williams a little bit happier?
That will. And even though that wasn't a drive that ended in a touchdown for Carolina or points on the board, it was a successful drive for Tony Pike. And like you mentioned, Charles, just a good opportunity for him to go against a good defense in a tough situation, string some plays together, make some good decisions, move the ball down the field. Unfortunately, he gets sacked there on 4th down, and Mr. Smith looks a little exasperated,
to say the least. Liddell Betts on the handoff.
You know, I'm still not, and here's the Saints' upcoming games. I'm sorry there. Seattle.
Well, they get the bye, so that's a good news in case Shockey and Ivory can get back next week. And then Seattle. And then for the last 7 games, if you look beyond the December 12th date, are on the road. 2 more division games. They're the last 2 games on their schedule at Atlanta. That'll be a big one, and home against Tampa Bay.
Interesting looking at that schedule. You see at Dallas, at Cincinnati in preseason. Those look extremely daunting. Right now, they might not be quite the same.
Liddell Betts running up the middle, so Chase Daniel is in at quarterback. And a 5-yard gain for Betts. His record at the University of Missouri as Carolina uses a timeout.
I still have my concerns about the Saints running game, and I know they put up some pretty good statistics today, but
really
what I'm looking for is the consistent 4, 5, 6, 7-yard run, and I didn't see that. I saw the consistent 2, 3, 4-yard run. I saw a couple breakout runs, but the sign of a really good running game to me is the consistency of the 4- and 5-yard run, and I didn't see that out of them yet.
You know, they've averaged 5.2 yards per carry, but a lot of that could be skewed by one long run.
Exactly, and I'm talking about when you look at it, play after play after play, I don't see a consistent running game yet. I see him moving that direction though.
3rd down and 4, and here's Daniel with a keeper. 1st down. And they get to the 49 of Carolina, and if they have that kind of a running game, then, well, there you got consistent play right there.
Well, and you know, you see the yardage. You see that before this play, 145 yards rushing. You say, well, how can you make that statement that they're not running the ball well? Well, I make it because of the consistency of that mid-yardage gain. It is skewed, like you said, Dick, by the big run early, a couple big runs, and that's a quarterback kind of keeper. That's not a run game. I'm talking about power football run games.
Betts.
I'm talking about those kinds of runs right there, and that's only 2 yards.
Derek Landry making the play. We're getting down to the 2-minute warning here in what has been a long afternoon on the field and the injury front for the Panthers.
Frankly, the Saints too, as they get ready for their open.
Yes. Bye week comes at a good time for them, Charles. You're right. Well, the good news will be a Saints victory, 24-3, their 2nd in a row. And of course, they'll be watching Chris Ivory, one of their 3 running backs. The rookie with a shoulder injury, Darren Sharper, limped off with a hamstring, and Jeremy Shockey with an undisclosed injury. There is Betts trying to turn the corner. So we have under 2 minutes to go in this game. And the Saints headed for a 6-3 record, will be a half a game behind the Falcons in the NFC South, and time permitting, stay with us. We'll send you to Minnesota for that finale of the Arizona Cardinal-Minnesota Viking game, which was tied up with a Brett Favre touchdown pass. Time permitting, we'll send you there.
Weren't the Cardinals up 24-10?
Yeah. Brett Favre
Did it again.
weren't we counting him out a couple weeks ago?
3rd down and 6. Betts. And he'll be stopped at the 45, forcing a punt. How about the Browns beating the Patriots? Eric Mangini leading the 34-14 win over New England. That's the same Browns team that beat the Saints in New Orleans a couple of weeks ago.
Remember what they did with Drew Brees. 4 interceptions that day. 2 of them returned for touchdowns, both by David Bowens, an outside linebacker. And they just confounded them and confused them the whole ball game. Couldn't run it, couldn't throw it. It's a big day for the Cleveland Browns on defense with Rob Ryan. They actually doused him with Gatorade at the end of the game to celebrate that victory.
We were talking earlier about the best teams in the NFC. I think there's a big game coming up today out in Seattle with the Giants and the Seahawks. 2 teams that are really playing well. The Seahawks, of course, playing without Matt Hasselbeck today, but I think if the Giants can go out there and win convincingly, it's hard to argue that they're not the best team in the NFC. It won't be easy now. It's never easy to play in Seattle.
4th down and 6. .110 remaining in the game. And Chase Daniel is going to be sandwiched and down at the 45, led by Charles Johnson. That'll be the first sack of the game by the Carolina Panthers, who will take over on downs. We only talked about the NFC powers. Here are the leaders. Eli Manning, 14 touchdown passes. Aaron Rodgers leading the Packers, and Matt Ryan, who led the Falcons to the victory over the Buccaneers today. And Drew Brees with 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Jimmy Graham, the rookie from Miami, his first NFL catch. Pike handing off to Fiametta, and Fiametta runs close to the 1st down, and he has it, 1st down, with under a minute remaining in the game.
And this is where the Panthers go through their hurry up now, trying to get some type of a feel-good score before this game ends.
Low snap. Flag is down, and Pike is shy of the 1st down.
I'm not sure any score feels good when you're down 34-3.
I gave it a shot.
You did.
Number 70.
You did.
10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
So Travell Wharton holding on the play. The Carolina Panthers came into this game with the worst start since 2004, when they went 1-7, and that's what they'll be after this game. And for the first time since John Fox has been the head coach, he will be swept by the Saints, who will manage to take 2 from Carolina for the first time in 9 years. And this is a Panther team that lost its first 5, beat the 49ers a couple of weeks ago, thought they might have something going, and then they lost to St. Louis. They've got Tampa Bay on the road next week, 3 of the next 4 away from here. Steve Smith, that's his first catch of the game, and that will extend his streak to 52 consecutive games with a reception.
How did he avoid that hit?
I don't know, but that's why I said because it looked to me like that was one of those balls that those guys don't like to see coming towards them.
Well, this means something to him for sure.
It's great body control by Steve Smith to catch that football and avoid the hit that sure appeared coming for him.
2nd down and 11 with 23 seconds to go. Is Pike going deep, caught by David Geddes, and that's his 2nd catch of the game. 22 yards.
We might have a quarterback controversy here in Carolina. Clausen or Pike?
Well, if the Carolina people were actually voting the fans, they put Armani Edwards into it since he played at Appalachian State. Right. But what a nice catch by David Geddes. And you're right, Jim. No scorer is going to put a Band-Aid on this game. But if you make a few plays as young guys, that helps them for the future.
I don't think Greg Williams wants to give up a touchdown. I still feel that way. And I'm sure the defense feels that way. First down. And Pike being chased. And down he goes. Alex Brown. And that should do it. As the clock now stops with 8 seconds.
He got rid of the football, and Ed Hockley is checking with his officials out in the flat. Yeah, did he get it out there far enough? Is it okay? I mean, Alex Brown undressing him, trying to get the sack, and Pike getting rid of the football.
We made fun, a little bit of fun about a quarterback controversy with these two guys, but really, in actuality, both Tony Pike and Jimmy Clausen have a bright future in the National Football League. They are both good football players.
Right, remember they were talking about Clausen or Colt McCoy, who should be drafted higher, and Colt McCoy leading the Browns to their convincing win over the Patriots today. 8 seconds to go. And we'll have another flag. It'll be a full start.
Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
Ryan Khalil, the center.
If you get a false start on the center, and that's the second one we've seen, is that snap count getting, misconstrued? Does he think it's one snap count and the quarterback another?
I don't know. Either that or the whole offensive line's moving because there's other 4 guys are confused. You don't see that very often, though.
Second down and 15. Pike off the hands of LaFell.
Boy, Dick, you weren't kidding about Greg Williams not wanting a touchdown. He's still blitzing. He's bringing everybody.
It's one of those things. If you're going to run your arsenal on offense, there's no reason for me to pull back on defense, and they have pride too.
Fewest points that
Dick.
the fewest points, Jim, that the Saints have given up. 9 in a win over Minnesota in the opening game, and 6 against Tampa Bay.
Here comes pressure again. Here's a all-out blitz right here.
Pike going deep. And LaFell, the intended receiver, overthrown, and flag is down. And do we have a roughing the passer call?
There was a foul on the play. There was a personal foul, roughing the passer, defense to the helmet of the quarterback.
We'll get another play.
That's a 15-yard penalty.
No time showing on the clock. But they'll have another play.
It will extend for an untimed down.
Drew Brees shaking his head.
Look like Alex Brown from the actually from the top of the screen, and it's the blow to the head that Ed Hockley calls as he hits him, knocking him down. Because it looked like the timing was fine in terms of hitting the quarterback. It's just hitting him in the head area. Drew's like, I thought we were done with this.
Not yet. Ball is on the 9.
All right, where's Smitty? You gonna give him a chance? There he is.
And the pass was going to go to Smitty. It's incomplete, and the game is over. And the Saints have defeated the Panthers 34-3 after trailing by a field goal early. 34 unanswered points. The Saints go to 6-3. Panthers drop to 1-7. We'll be back here at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte in just a moment.